What's good? Welcome back to the Other Side Cycling podcast. Hello, Lucy. How you
Hello.
doing?
I'm doing good. I'm a little chilly. What the hell is this cloud? We're in LA. What the
Yeah,
hell?
back in beautiful Los Angeles, yes.
Yes.
Sitting in the Tree People lot.
Yeah.
Have you ever been here before?
First time, actually. I have ridden past it multiple times, but never been in. And I think I'll come back. It's quite
lovely.
weird. We turned in and there was a man in a cow costume, I think as part of like a Chick-fil-A advert.
They do a lot of corporate stuff here at Tree People. They do some like trail digging and such, and I'm sure it's a corporate event type of thing.
I was like, "Where's the Chick-fil-A?" It was
Dude.
it was very random. Very random.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll be ambushed at any moment with a herd of people dressed as cows.
That would be great content.
That would be great. I think we could go viral.
Yeah. I think we should jump right into it. We're back in Los Angeles, coming back from Sea Otter this past weekend. What a weekend. We were there from Wednesday all the way through Sunday.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just about recovered. I feel like my voice is still a little like deep and husky, but I kind of like it. My sunburnt lips are just about recovering too. And yeah, just spent the last couple of days just thinking over what a great time we had.
Mm-hmm. It was a pretty fun time. Second Sea Otter in a row for me. And I think I had a lot more fun this time than I did last year, just because I was a little bit more conscious of every movement that I was making.
And because I was there too, right?
Yeah. That was fantastic. For those of you who weren't there, Sea Otter is at Laguna Seca in Monterey, and we stayed at a nice little place called Inn by the Bay, Monterey. No plugging for them. We're not recommending them.
It was fine. It was fine. I stayed there the year before.
Yeah.
And I had some issues with my key card. I got back to my room in the early hours of the morning and my key didn't work. So that wasn't great. And when I heard that was where I would be staying again this year, I was a little worried because of the experience I had last year. I did, in fact, experience the same thing again this year. However, it was quite useful that you were staying in my room because we could kind of help each other out a little bit there. And I tried very, very hard to not let my key card interact with my wallet or phone or AirPods because that seemed to be a problem.
Yeah, I kept the key card separate from everything else. Like I had it in my back left pocket.
Yeah.
I never keep anything in there. So mine seemed to would have been working most times, but it did suck that yours kept getting jammed up.
I feel like that's an issue that most hotels seem to have solved that by now, but
not at Inn by the Bay, Monterey.
No, just be warned. Other than that, it was fine. Good location for the town.
Yep. So, what was that? 5 days there that we spent. We left on Sunday afternoon as everyone was packing up, and we tried to do a car recording of this. This is our second attempt at making an episode. I think we got some really good sound bites out of it, but the microphone that we were using, I don't think we're technologically advanced enough to pull the audio off of it. We're not AV professionals by any means, but I'm sure the audio was great.
It exists,
but it gave us a great baseline. And I think now that we've had a couple of days to think over the experience, we have a little bit more to talk about and things to reflect on.
Yeah.
We're going to do our regular podcast format. We're going to do from downtown, talk about the tech, talk about the bike industry stuff that we saw. We're going to do the staples, talk about what we did as far as riding last week, and then we're going to go into transplant talk. So, Lucy, you want to kick us off from downtown? What were you doing at Sea Otter? What brought you up there?
I mean, so much. So I was mainly helping out Black Heart Bikes.
Who are they?
Black Heart Bike Co. is a bike company started by my wonderful friend, Zach Lambert. It was originally founded in LA, as that's where he lived at the time. And then now it's based in Truckee, which is also a stunning place to ride. Amazing gravel riding. They specialize in titanium, now aluminum or aluminium, depending on where you're from. I kept saying both of the weekend, or I'd kind of say a mix of the two words, and it was confusing.
Titanium, aluminium.
No, titanium is the same in English and English.
Yeah.
American English.
Call it American here. But
yeah, they make awesome bikes. It's who I am an ambassador for and have been for the last 3-ish years. They launched a gravel bike at the event, or they launched it a couple of weeks prior, and they were showing that for the first time. So that was super exciting. But we had the road and gravel, tie, and aluminum bikes They are stunning. It was super exciting to see so many people so excited about the new bike, and then also those people that had never heard of the brand, and I could share that message, and so that was cool.
That's pretty rad. We're in an active park, so there are things going on. And then Burbank Airport is not too far away, so you do hear things flying in and out. I was supposed to do location scouting. I thought this place was going to be really good. I think it still is.
No, it's cool. It's good to see it being used. Yeah, so I was helping out Blackheart for the weekend. Really enjoyed it, and it was nice to be around people that were excited about the brand. What about you?
I was just there to network, generally speaking. The friends from MAP had me tap in to do a couple of guerrilla activations with them. They were doing a lot of stuff just around town because they didn't have a booth in the space.
Honestly, quite a smart way to do it.
Yeah.
Sea Otter is great. It's an amazing event. Having a booth there is cool, but I know firsthand that it does come with quite a cost and all the things involved. And on the other side, what they did is complicated because there's only so many days and only so many places in Monterey to do things. So you have to kind of get in quick and you have to have the place to be that night.
Yeah, I was involved with a couple of things, mainly on the Thursday that we were there. They needed someone to set up kind of guerrilla style renegade, run a tent and cooler down to the entryway. If you're not familiar with the layout of Sea Otter, there's normally a big entrance by the tire bridge, the general public entrance, and you come down from the parking lot. So it's like 4 stories of ramps and staircases and a lot of walking. And I had to commandeer a big map tent, one of the standard easy ups, and like a 100-pound cooler full of drinks and have it set up for the away message quack ride to commemorate the launch of the gravel shoe that was done in collaboration with MAP. Away Message is a NorCal team that is sponsored by both MAP and Quack, and their ride leaders were setting up a group ride. I went down there with all the stuff and some homies who were helping out. Kyle Madden, shout out, and Harrison, one of the Away Message team riders. They helped me bring the stuff down. And I was like to the Sea Otter employees, hey, I'm just going to set up this tent. It's going to be like 10, 15 minutes. I'm going to put it up, take it right back down. Like, don't kick me out. We're just hosting a group ride. I'll be out in a minute. And the guy goes, I don't think you can do that, but I also can't enforce it. So just don't block anything. I was like, cool, badass. I love it. Offered him some drinks at the end, made some friends. It was cool. That group ride went off and they linked up back in town in Monterey for an event. It was a women's panel, emceed by Meg Fisher,
Legend,
Paralympic world champion, Olympic champion.
I think.
Multiple, yeah.
I don't have those facts to the top of my head, but
neither do I. But her resume is crazy. Yeah, 100%.
It was a friend anniversary at Sea Otter. I saw her on the last day, and she was like, "Hey, it's our friend anniversary." I was like, "Whoa, I didn't even realize that." And we had a great moment. She's
a lovely soul.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Good to be friends with her. Awesome to see a panel full of really, really talented women talking about their experience on bikes as professional athletes. And some really challenging discussions were had, challenging questions were raised about how to increase inclusivity in the sport, increase the optics for women's sports. I think you and I have a pretty strong viewpoint on this, that everyone should be watching women's sports. And cycling is one of those things where when you have access to it, the world is your oyster and you can kind of make the sport as you wish.
Yeah, I've said it before, and I mean, this is a quote from someone else, but one, if you build it, they will come, and two, it pays to invest in women's sports because
100%.
It's growing, and if you want to make money, that's where you can put your money. The women's panel really pushed people to think and challenged people to understand things that women face or the issues in the sport, and it was a good quality, productive panel rather than just, here's some opinions, blah, blah, blah. It was more like, what can we all be doing to make cycling a better place?
Right. What's crazy too is that some of those women who were on that panel had raced earlier in the day.
Yeah.
They had just finished their like 6-hour slog on the Gravel Lifetime event. And then we're racing again later in the week.
Yeah.
Pretty nuts to be doing all of that together. Sorry, I'm distracted. The chicken guy is walking past. Come here.
It's quite scary.
Give me a chicken sandwich. Anyway,
Also at Sea Otter, one thing I should probably mention, as well as helping out Blackheart, networking and speaking to people. It's a wonderful event, and there's some people that I've met there and have only seen them there since. There's people from the UK that I hadn't seen in a couple of years. It was really good to catch up with them. And also, I'm trying to look for a job at the minute. Currently unemployed, so just really trying to work out whatever is next in my life. And it was a really good opportunity to speak to different people and just put the feelers out. So I felt like I had some good conversations, and we will see where that goes.
It's a great place to go looking for work. There, all the main players on most brands that you want to be working with are going to be out there.
Despite not having a job right now, I think actually it was quite well timed with Sea Otter. I was just trying to use that opportunity wisely and have some really good conversations. I think it's a weird time for basically everyone in the world right now, and in the bike industry in particular, with the T word, which is tariffs, which especially on the first 2 days, which is media and kind of industry day at Sea Otter, I was walking around some of the booths. I just heard the word by so many groups of people, and I was like, oh, wow, it's weighing on everyone's minds right now. Yeah, I hope that we can sort it out and it's not going to be as bad as people forecast.
Yeah, fingers crossed the industry is able to manage the costs, because cycling is already such a cost prohibitive sport in so many regards.
Yep.
Access to good roads, having the bikes in the first place, no matter how cheap the bike is.
Yep.
It's always about scale of income. Compared to your income, it's pretty expensive to have a bike, and it's a means for transportation, means for exercise.
For anyone.
Yeah. I mean, these things are not cheap. That being said, it did feel like the brands were also responding to that in the way that they had their booths this year. There were a lot of brands present, but also a lot fewer giveaways, a lot fewer products on display.
The giveaway aspect, I was quite a big fan of.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
for sure.
I mean, giveaways, cool, they're fun. They are a way for your brand to get more visibility and for people to remember your brand and have that recognition. Absolutely. Like, I have been on that side of stuff, done giveaways. However, at events like Sea Otter, there's so much waste. Masses of children that just walk booth to booth like, hey, have you got anything free? And you see that their bags are already full of 10 different water bottles, 3 different
swag
hats,
out the booty.
and just like, children are not going to be buying the bikes, but I guess if give them to their parents or whatever. But there's just so much waste, and I really, really hate that. I've seen it, on the Sunday when everyone's packing up and there's still boxes of it left and so much plastic and just waste. And this year, it did seem like there was a lot less of nonsense giveaways. There was still some, but I would say it's a much more healthy amount.
What else did we see?
So, talking of bikes, on my favorite topic.
Here we go.
Well, you need like a Brompton klaxon, because Brompton. I mean, they were there. Awesome to see them. If you haven't listened to our other podcasts, what the hell are you doing? But we've talked about Brompton before. We used the opportunity to obviously check out their booth, check out their bikes, and also speak to their team. So if
they're
any
really,
of their team
really
are
nice
listening,
people.
Hello. Yeah, super nice people. I don't know. We'll see. I would love to help them out with content. And yeah, I mentioned I'm looking for work right now. So even if it's just some bits here and there, you never know. That was a really good conversation.
Yeah, they were really sweet. I think seeing something like that at an event that is also super performance oriented is very refreshing. They do a lot of work as far as public service when it comes to influencing bike adoption in cities. Not like, like, oh, fostering a bike. No. There I'm talking
I'd
about
like to foster a bike.
Turning that into, yes, exactly, me too. But turning the bike into your main mode of transportation and working with city officials and the organizations involved to do studies, have conversations about helping gain access to safe infrastructure, which is a hugely underrated part of the bike industry.
I think there's a group or a couple of Brompton retailers in LA that do a lot of group rides, community events. So
maybe we'll have a chat with them.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I looked around for some new shoes. I ended up this weekend purchasing a pair of Physiques.
Oh yeah, congrats.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
I know that was a big thing for you.
It was a huge thing for me. I have a very particular preference for my shoe fit. And I won't go too far down the rabbit hole because I could speak for hours about the situation, but I was influenced by the homies. Shout out Shane from Physique. He was rocking a clean pair of white shoes, and a friend that I reconnected with was rocking them as well. Part of the Cell Royal gang, these guys. And yeah, I ended up purchasing a pair because I was able to try on the right size for me. And lo and behold, I'm wearing them. You can't see them because they're under the table. I'm not going to kick my foot up real quick. I'm not that flexible. The shoe discussion has now partially ended. I'm never not looking for shoes. I'm an addict.
Yeah, I think cycling shoes in particular are such a particular thing. You know, you have 3 touch points on the bike, your shoes in the pedals, your hands on the bars, and your bum on the saddle.
Yeah.
And it's important that those things fit perfectly and they are comfortable. I've had conversations with people before, like, oh, cycling is uncomfortable. Like, that's just a fact. I'm like, no, you should be comfortable on the bike. And if you're not, then you should get that sorted out. And I think shoes is difficult because you might like the look of X brand, but they don't work with your feet.
Yeah,
You
100%.
know,
That's
like,
always the way.
there are some brands that are better than others. I know like shoes are meant to basically fit any person's feet because they have super wide range of sizes and models and fits. I know Giro can be a little slim, which, you know, works for some people's feet, but doesn't work for other people's feet. So I'm happy you have found your shoes, and
For now.
it's like Cinderella.
Yeah, the slipper, the glass slipper. I think you also came away from the event with a couple of goodies, right?
Yeah, I took my bike, even though I didn't do any riding at Sea Otter.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, I rode my bike and I used the opportunity to get the finish line guys to take a look at it and just see if there's anything that needed love, like the gears. And apparently it was all good and they lubed it up and just nice to have that peace of mind. But I came away with some new chain wax. It's not, they're like cook in a pan type thing, but it's a really cool applicator and like a bottle and liquid stuff, but it's wax. So super excited to try that out. Haven't put it on my bike yet because they lubed it up the other day, but stay tuned for my report on that. They also hooked me up with some cleaning stuff as well. I really like their products. So that was great. Tailfin also just had some really good conversations with those guys. They're a British brand. I don't know, one of their marketing guys, James Bracey, I met him, I think maybe 2020, like super early 2020. He now works for Tailfin, and it was super cool to catch up with him and just see they had a really good booth set up. They were making some great content there and just see them thriving in the US. So super excited to see how that all unfolds. And I actually used their setup to ride back from Sea Otter when I did that 2 years ago.
How was that ride for you? I think when we were driving up, you mentioned that the route that we took up was essentially the route you took down.
Very similar.
Similar?
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to do it down and not up because of the wind. So basically, you're always guaranteed a tailwind going from north to south.
Guarantee is a strong guarantee.
The tailwind was mostly there. It's better doing it that way than the other way around, basically. Fair. It's all downhill, right?
Mostly, yeah. I mean,
no, it's not. Speaking from experience, it's not all downhill.
I did the drive down, and I do think I missed the road that you turned onto.
Correct.
My apologies.
And also, yeah, we weren't driving the exact same route, but following very similar way. And I mean, it's just such a stunning drive, stunning ride too, obviously. Yeah. And then I got to see a lot of California that I hadn't seen before. It was also just the first time I'd ever like bike packed, I guess. We did it credit card style where you stay in a hotel. I don't think I could do the camping as well. I was super impressed with the Tailfin setup. I really need to use that stuff again. It's been too long.
I think my friend Chris Ballard did mention that he's doing that journey down to LA.
Yeah, I have a friend, V, who works for a UK PR agency. She's currently day 3, I think, riding down.
There must be a pretty decent group doing it, glamping down. Yeah,
I feel like we all need start watching.
Yeah,
trackers.
Turn it into an event next year. You know, actually make it a part of the challenges for the industry people at the very least.
I think Alvin and the concept guys also rode back, but I think they set off Saturday.
Got it.
I think it's cool to see that.
I think that leads us straight into the staples as far as riding. So I don't think you did riding, you mentioned, right, out here this time?
Yeah, I took my bike just in case because we drove up, so it was super easy. I think it's such long days and you're walking so much and you're on your feet so much and it requires a certain amount of energy. I kind of decided that I would just keep it cool. However, I came away from the event really excited to ride my bike, which I think is super healthy
That's nice.
going
That's a
into
great
like a
feeling.
cycling event. And I spoke on the last day, like that's what a lot of other people were saying. They were like, you know what? I'm actually really excited and looking forward to riding bikes this
Yeah.
week. I mean, look at me. I'm out on my bike.
Hell yeah. Damn right we are.
Yeah, I'm making up for it now.
I ended up doing a lot of riding. I did not have to be posted up at a booth for most of the week.
It was a little training camp for you, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I have goals to meet. So I ended up doing some of my favorite roads that I've vacationed up in Carmel, that part of the Central Coast before. So I got to revisit some of those roads. I ended up going slower than I did a few years ago, which makes sense. I'm a lot heavier now than I was then. Got to revisit 17 Mile Drive, riding around Pebble Beach, doing some loops. If you look at my Strava, I did a 50-mile ride on the first day, and then I did a 40-miler the next day with a little bit of gravel. A little bit of gravel.
Okay.
Did the bicycling magazine industry ride.
That's the one I was thinking about doing.
Yeah.
Didn't.
It was a good ride.
Yeah.
Wasn't much that you missed, but it was a really nice route around the coast. Shout out to Dan Chapinoff for leading that ride.
I heard it was spicy. I had it got a little spicy on the front.
I don't think it really got all that spicy. I think people just didn't go through a green light that we had on time.
Okay.
And it got separated.
I'm gonna stay out of it. It sounds complicated, but just what I heard.
It's a thing that happens on group rides. We were going maybe like maximum 16 miles per hour for like the whole, because there was a headwind. It was headwind the whole way down. Good thing I was tucked behind some wheels. It was nice. Yeah, I ended up with a lot of riding. If you aren't familiar with where Sea Otter is, you have to climb up a pretty massive hill, and you can't avoid it to get into the event. There's a couple options. Most people who are going into the general entrance, they're going to do this like 3.5 mile long, really rough road. It's one way when you're getting in there to start the day because no one exits that way. One way traffic.
It's like an old military thing. I think.
Yeah, Fort Ord.
Like, be careful because it's mines or something.
Yeah, it's called Boundary Road, and it's a big hill. I think it's almost 1,500 feet in elevation in 3.5 miles.
It drags.
It's a drag, dude.
On my drive-in with Zach, we saw a lot of people just suffering.
I mean, the thing with that too is that the foliage on on the shoulders, it's overgrown. So, if the cars are coming up behind you, coming up hot, which they shouldn't, slow down.
I mean, we're all cyclists. So.
Yeah, slow down. You're gonna smack your face on those pretty thorny like branches. That being said, if you take the shortcut, if you just carry on, I think it's Monterey Salinas Highway, and then you hit the side entrance, which is also accessible, it's a much steeper hill. It's about 16% for like
spicy.
Yeah, for a quarter mile, which it doesn't sound very long, but if you're loaded, you're carrying your backpack, full of all your gear, it gets heavy and it's no tree cover, so it's hot.
You're really selling it to me.
I like that route better than the 3.5 mile. That being said, I rode a lot, rode into the event basically every day except for the day that we needed the car. It was a good time. Ride your bike.
Ride your bike.
But you were still getting to meet and hang out with a lot of people. I was doing the riding the bike thing to kind of network.
Yeah.
I think you did the same, just at a different time of day in different places than I was.
Met some really good people, like I mentioned already. Reconnected with some people I hadn't seen maybe since last year or even before that. Made some really good friends too, which I think is honestly, I think the people are the best thing about Sea Otter from my side. Like obviously there's a lot of cool bike tech being launched, a lot of gear, a lot of racing, a lot of action, but the people are what really makes Sea Otter for me. One person that I met in particular, I tried to get them on the podcast actually, and they said no. But
who was this?
My friend Tom Dumoulin.
Your friend?
Yeah, I'd say we're friends now. I was walking past the Giant booth, as in Giant brand. I mean, it was also Giant. I saw him, he was signing hats and no one else was really like around him. I was like, oh, there's Tom Dumoulin. I knew he was racing the gravel race. So I was like, cool, I know that's him. I was like, hey, Tom, can I get a photo with you? He was like, yeah, sure.
That's so sweet.
We have a selfie. I need to post it actually. He was like, oh, you racing? And I was like, no, but I'll take that as a compliment. The fact that he thinks I race, cool, I'll take that. We had a little chat, super nice. And then I walked away and I was like, fuck, I should have asked him to come on the podcast or like record a little video being like, hey, I'm Tom Dumoulin and you're listening to blah, 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 blah.
You should have guerrilla styled it, just ran up on him like with the camera on your side, being like, Tom, would you be down to do a soundbite for the podcast? We should have coordinated
I
on
like
this.
consent, so
That is very his face didn't need to be on the video. I mean,
yeah,
but this is an audio thing after all, mostly.
I came away with regret for not asking him. And then I saw him again that evening at the giant party
at Captain Soaker.
Yeah. And Zach from Black Hole was very encouraging. He was like, look, now's your chance. You didn't ask him earlier. What do you have to lose? And I was like, no, it's okay. Like, I'll leave him be. And then I plucked up the courage to ask him. And he said no. He said no to both coming on the podcast and recording a little, and it's fine. His excuse was, if I said yes to every single podcast I got asked to go on, I would spend all my time on podcasts. So he'll come back to us, I'm sure.
Well, see, Zach told me that the reason was because I wasn't there to help goad him into it. I don't know if I really have that level of sway.
Next time,
we are co-hosts. We need to be doing this together.
Yeah, where were you to support me?
Sat at home making I don't know, content. I don't know what I was doing, to be honest. I was tired. I rode in that day. Okay, I rode some gravel. I was tired.
Excuses. He's going to be at Unbound, I believe. So I don't have plans to go there currently. You never know. So if we see him again, we can ask him again because, maybe the answer will be different. Or maybe he'll be like, hey, I've changed my mind. I would love to come on. So stay tuned for that.
Clearly, we made an impact on him. We met a bunch of other people, and Tom actually played a factor into Saturday night as well. Matt posted a party at Compact Disco. Mm-hmm. I think you spent a lot of time there this past weekend in general. Yeah.
I was just doing my networking. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Fun fact about Compact Disco: part owned by Brad Pitt.
Do you have that from like a trusted source?
The night's a bit foggy.
Is this a rumor?
No, the night is a bit foggy. I can't remember if it was Andrew Putt or Cody Chenard who told me, but I'm going to put them on blast and say that one of those two told me that Compact Disco was owned by Brad Pitt. Actually, it could have even been Alex Papke.
Okay.
Yeah. All involved with that event that night. Alex Papke, very, very talented photographer on map staff the past weekend, taking photos of the privateers, taking photos of the events, and kind of not allowed to be taking photos inside of Compact Disco because of Brad Pitt. Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite weird. I was like, are you taking photos? He's like, yeah, only till 9 p.m. though, and I'm not allowed to use flash. And I was like, but you're being paid to take photos, and the club won't let you take photos. It was interesting.
It's because some high-profile people go there, but
I mean, Tom Dumoulin was there, I guess.
He was there. He closed out the bar with me. He was there till 2 a.m. dancing. He had a great time.
I was there too.
You were also there till 2 a.m. Actually, you know what? I didn't stay there until 2 a.m. I left till I was there till they kicked everyone out, but I didn't wait for everyone to flow out. I made a mad dash for Denny's because it was the only place open late at night, and they had a 45-minute wait for a table because there was only one chef. You wouldn't have this experience at a Waffle House. This is me starkly saying I'm not a fan of Denny's because in my time of need, they didn't support me.
Yeah, I think I ended up at Denny's maybe 20 minutes after you did, and I experienced the exact same thing. And yeah, it was kind of weird. And I think they said, oh, we have a table at like 4:15 a.m. Like, that's when you should come back. You're like, nah, I'm good. I'm going to go to bed.
I made a mad dash after that to Jack in the Box, which was across the street from Inn by the Bay, Monterey. And I was like, it's got to be drive-through only. It has to be drive-through only. I opened the door. That thing was open.
Hell yeah.
But it was still drive-through only. And the two dudes working in there super hard. They were like mashing through orders because the drive-through line was out the wazoo.
Because Denny's was full.
And would, maybe they were in cahoots. Maybe Denny's and Jack in the Box were having, a conversation like, yeah, send them over here.
Yeah.
Boost our numbers. Anyway, I had to have a conversation with the guys in Spanish, my broken Spanish. Told them, hey, look, I'm inside. Y'all didn't lock the door. I'm drunk. Can y'all take my order? The guy goes, no, dude, my bad. Spanish. It's drive-through only right now. I can't take your order inside. Register's closed. I was like, Bro, the guy behind him, the older gentleman, was like, just walk through the drive-through.
That's dangerous though. Like
Exactly.
the size of some trucks, you
Yeah.
know, I can't see the driver because the front of it is so big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Because of my broken Spanish, I speak it well enough. I thought that he was suggesting that I go grab my car. Well, I was like, it's not even my car.
My God.
I was like, it's Lucy's car. I'm like, I'm in no state to drive. This is don't drive drunk. Okay. Don't do that. No one should ever do that. And I made the conscious decision to be like, yo, I can't go grab my car and I'm not going to walk through the drive through. And at that point, the younger guy folded and he was like, dude, just lock the door. Don't let anyone in. I'll take your order. And I was like, sweet.
Yeah, the locking.
And in that, I said to him, I'll be patient as well. No matter how long it takes, I'm going to get this food. You guys are saving my life. Because I was starving, dude. I don't know what I ate that night. I think
I had like a slice of pizza.
You had a slice of pizza.
Yeah, I had two. It was really spicy.
If you're ever in town for Sea Otter and you don't know what to do, just walk around downtown if you're staying down there and some industry event is happening that you will likely be able to walk into.
It was like 3 every night.
Yeah, at minimum. And there's really only a few places to go anyway, right? I feel like that's a lot of what we did.
I would say the DJ at Compact Disco, especially at the Mat Party, was sick. He was really good.
The vibes were good.
And it got better and better and better throughout the night. Like, yeah. I enjoyed dancing. I feel like I don't go dancing much anymore. And that was a really good way to end out the event with a little dance with some friends.
For sure.
Hell yeah.
The vibes were really good. And the drinks that they were serving were actually pretty cheap if you ended up not getting a drink ticket. I think those Monterey beers, shout out to Monterey beer, because that stuff was good. Like, I had it every night that I was out there because I just wanted something proper. Like, I like a good lager, and that beer was kicking. Anyway, beers were good, vibes were good. The people that we were with throughout the event, not just the nights out, they were cool. Got to kick it with the SRAM homies. Shrammies. Shout out to...
I don't know who coined that term, but I love it.
Shout out to the SRAM folks. They were a good vibe, especially our homies Mia Mydrick and Kyle Joy. Those two, absolute joy to be around. Good vibes, good people. I work with Mia with content for Hammerhead. I'm a Hammerhead ambassador. It's on my computer there. She handed me a cool color shell. Hammerhead just launched this kind of customization feature that all the Hammerheads have had in the past. And it's very well done. The materials feel really good. This is not a paid ad, but it is sponsored. Anyone else that you want to give a shout out to through the weekend?
No one in particular as such. I feel like I don't want to miss anyone.
Yeah, there were a lot of people
on my list. Like if I spoke to you at Sea Otter, thanks for your time.
Hi, we love you.
Great to chat. Yeah, thanks. I don't know. Keep it simple.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that takes care of our little recap of Sea Otter. We didn't really touch on the racing because that wasn't what we were there for. I don't even think I stood on the racetrack at any point this week.
Yeah, I had intentions to go see the women finish the gravel race, the Lifetime Grand Prix, but we were pretty busy at the Black Heart booths.
Yeah,
I think
which is good.
That was the media day. I didn't get a chance to see that, and I think mostly the usual people won. So,
Keegan,
congrats to them.
Racing wasn't that big of a priority this year for us, so which is cool.
Yeah,
it's more about the people anyway. The racing is kind of a thing that needs to happen. And for the pros, for their livelihoods, absolutely kick ass. First time the Lifetime event was a gravel race with no draft. I'll look at the results later.
What was your favorite thing you saw at Sea Otter?
Oh, that's a great question. I think there was an electric bike company that was right by the entrance. And it stood out to me because I'm not really into the whole e-bike thing. I know they have their place, but I saw the name of the company. It was called Ananda, and I had to take a picture, stop, and be like, Lucy, I didn't know your wife had a bike company. It was a bright white tent with green lettering, and it said Ananda on it. This is not a shout out to them. I just thought it was really cool to see.
Yeah, I had to swing by and pick up a tote bag for her because It's
not a
quite
common
funny.
name. It's not a
No,
common
it's
name.
not. It's not. And she never uses it if we get coffee. Even if I'm not with her, she won't use her name.
Does she just
uses
say,
my
oh, she says Lucy?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say she uses Amanda.
No. She
That's
would never. She
disrespectful.
would never.
That's disrespectful.
People just don't seem to get that that's her name. I struggle with my name sometimes. I once put in my name at a restaurant in LA and they went, Moosey? And I was like, no, this is not my name. I was very confused how they came to that realization. I was just like, no, Lucy. Anyway, I picked her up one of those tote bags because, of course she needs one with her name on it.
Same question to you then. What did you see?
I mean, maybe I would say the new gravel tie from Blackheart.
Definitely sponsored.
That's an easy answer. Yeah, honestly, that bike looks stunning and I really want to try it out.
It had some Hunts on it, right? We were next to the Hunt booth. That's another thing. Ken from Hunt, always the gentleman. I think that was a cool product. They were showing off a new set of their Limitless gravel wheels, which I think is optimized for 40 to 45 tire.
Nice.
Super nice. A little slim, in my opinion, compared to what a lot of racers are going to be using. But Ken had them laced up to some Quivists. I think it's a German hub company that's doing like this double ratchet system. He had them on his new custom-made Rizzo. I think that was the coolest bike that I saw at the event. The special edition lace wheels from Hunt. I think there's only like, I don't know what the number is, maybe 40 of them that are going to be available, which is a super limited edition.
I think he got that featured on the Radavist.
Oh,
or like
sick.
the Radavist's Instagram.
If we find the link to that article, we're going to share that in the description.
Yeah, you should definitely check that out.
Yeah.
How would you sum up Sea Otter in 3 words?
Owned by Brad.
Owned by Brad.
Absolutely owned by Brad.
Nothing to do with bikes whatsoever.
No.
Just
I had a great time riding bikes and walking around the convention, expo, whatever you want to call it. But I think the most fun was in a space owned by Brad. So thank you, Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I'm just sad he wasn't there. I don't know.
I could do without him.
We didn't need him.
We didn't need him to have a great time. How about you? Sum it up 3 words for me.
Sea Otter Classic. No, I'm just kidding.
Very concise.
Friends.
Okay.
Sunshine.
Was there?
Yeah, there was a little sunshine.
Is sunshine 2 words or 1 word for you?
1 word.
Okay.
Friends, sunshine, bikes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, I questioned the sunshine thing because I didn't really feel sunshine until the last day.
There was a little sunshine.
There was. The last day was the one day I got sunburned on my neck and on my nose. The rest of the days, it was pretty cloudy. I got wet on the first day, but that was because I was riding around the beach.
No, it was wet at the event as well. Kind of
misty. Yeah.
There was one day it was chilly, but other than that,
tough to race in those conditions. Nice. Yeah. Always a lovely time. I think we should maybe talk quickly about Paris-Roubaix, which happened alongside Sea Otter. Paris-Roubaix was on Saturday and Sunday. Paris-Roubaix Femme on Saturday. Woke up, immediately caught the last hour of the women's race. Pauline Ferrand-Prévot absolutely dogging the local dominated them. Crazy attack and soloed to victory.
Yeah, super cool.
Coming from mountain bikes and to finish first on arguably the hardest race on the calendar for either men's or women's. Bad ass effort. 100%. Did not see her in our little predictions as being a winner.
Where was she? We kind of messed that up. I think most of the people we predicted weren't even racing that day.
Well, the start lists weren't finalized until day before anyway, so it was kind of a wild card.
Yeah.
My dark horse for the men's race did win. Matthew van der Poel, not really a dark horse.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of a given that he would be up there. And again, awesome racing from him and Tade, just battling it out. And for Matthew to win 3 years in a row at a race like that, where it's just so unpredictable. Fair play. Yeah. Fair play.
I got a text from Kyle Joy the morning of Paris-Roubaix, and he goes, "Told you not to bet on Pogacar." I'm like,
did you put money down?
No, I always say that I'm betting on things, but I don't have that kind of bread to waste.
Simple.
Maybe it's because I'm not. Yeah, well, come on. I did. Okay, if you looked in our trash can at the hotel, I did get a scratcher while I was out there. I needed to scratch that itch, dude. I needed to scratch the itch. I'm in there. I think I took your bottle opener on your car keys to scratch it.
Exposed.
Totally exposed. I think we had a great time. I think we should close this out. It's starting to get loud in here. There's a lot of field trips going on, which is really cool to see kids appreciating nature.
Oh,
We're gonna go finish off the rest of our bike ride. Yeah.
one thing I wanted to talk about quickly before we dip, I think I hinted at this the last episode, maybe. It's now been officially announced. There is a MAP women's ride happening in LA. Let me just
April
double
27th, I
Okay.
believe.
It's Sunday brunch with MAP and Luft. Sunday, April 27th, meeting at 7:30 a.m., rolling at 8 a.m., and then there's going to be coffee, bites, and mimosas to follow.
There is an RSVP.
RSVP through the Luft website. It's no drop, so friendly pace. If you've never done a group ride before, you should come along. Yeah, I'm super excited. It's been a while since I've done a proper group ride like that, and I love meeting new women at those rides as well.
Be rad. Tell the ladies to come out. I won't be there.
Yeah, you're
men
not
are
invited.
men are not invited.
Yep.
Which is great. You guys should have that space to socialize and get to know each other and feel comfortable riding. So, shout out to Luft and Matt for putting that on. Will you be leading?
Yeah, I'm helping lead. I will drop a link in the description if you want to sign up, and I would love to see y'all there.
Cool.
Yeah, April 27th.
Very cool. And with that, let's close it out.
Let's go finish our bike ride. The sun's coming out and I'm getting cold and hungry. I haven't eaten anything today. Thank you so much for listening to the Other Side Cycling Podcast, episode 5, done and dusted. If you're not subscribed already on YouTube or Spotify or following us on Instagram, then please, what are you doing? Go sort that out. We are gonna try utilize all the different channels a little bit more now that Sea Otter's over and we have maybe a little bit more time on our hands. Drop us a comment down below. Let us know what you think. If there's any topics or questions you want us to cover too, let us know. We want to serve you and bring you stuff that hopefully is interesting. So, yeah.
If there's anything that you saw at Sea Otter, if you did go, or any products that were released afterwards that you thought were really interesting, let us know. Drop that in the comments as well. And it was great to have this chat with you out of the studio for once. It's really nice out here.
Yeah, we should do this again. If it sounds good and it looks good.
Rad.
Cool.
Bye, guys.
Bye.